So on today's episode of What on Earth Did We Get Ourselves Into, we're going to fill some voids on the glass here using polyurethane foam. Now, this is a two-part expanding foam, and per the instructions, the expansion will be violent and rapid, and you will not get a second chance to replicate this. So, as soon as we mix these two, I got about 25 seconds to mix them, and then expansion should start within 45 seconds. I'm going to aim for about 1 to 1.5 ounces of foam resin and then foam activator. I got my iPhone over here, which will double as the clock, so we'll have a timer. And let's just see what this expansion looks like. And then one of my targets, I have to inject it in some tight spots on the airplane. I want to use these cheap little syringes with a piece of hose so I can get in and pop it in. I want to see if I can transfer mixed foam from here over to there. So, without any further ado, this is for science. And my test vessel for receiving from the syringe, just because it's a speed project, Mr. Lightning McQueen himself on a Dixie cup. So, let's start the show. Oh, dear Lord, what are we doing here? Okay, there's an ounce of resin and a drop. Supposed to be 1 for 1. Let's see how we do. Okay, there's an ounce of activator plus a drop. That last drop is critical. Now we're supposed to mix until no more swirls are visible. I'm going to put some of that activator in there. It immediately starts to change color. I hope the camera's picking up on this. And immediately starts to look creamy. Forgot to start the clock, so we're going to have to add a couple seconds to that. About 5 seconds late, but it immediately begins to look like expanding foam. So I'm 15 seconds in, 16, let's add 5, so at 20 seconds it needs to be fully mixed, which it is. Lightning, you're holding that. Now, this is to see if I can transfer it to the airplane. I should have about 40 seconds to draw it up, which it seems to do pretty well. And then, for the reasons of science, now, this is where I would be walking over to the airplane and positioning and inserting the piece of hose and trying to do all these things to finagle. And then, see if it'll squirt. Now, just for fun, I'm not going to squirt it all out. I want to see if it'll push the syringe open. I don't know. Cup is developing some bubbles. So any moment now we should start to realize some form of expansion. So I'm going to park this here on my little piece of plastic. We're going to watch that for a minute. I'm going to move you down closer. Let's see what happens. It was at 2 ounces. I've drawn some out. Let's see what happens. I hope you can see the timer. And not that I like to stare at a cup or the old adage about watching paint dry, but I really am curious how long this is going to take. The dynamic has changed in this cup too. Oh, there's the expansion. It's moving. Okay, so it was down below 2. Coming up on 2.5. Still pretty liquidy though. I'm going to contaminate the game on my test cup. I want to see if it'll stick to the sidewall. So I'm going to tilt it so it runs up. Okay, it kind of adheres to the side. So when it says it's resin, that's no lie. It's sticky stuff. The reason I'm asking that is I'm just curious of the dynamic. Well, 3 minutes in, I'd say it's expanding. Remember, I'm 5 seconds behind, so this is coming up on 3:15 now. Yeah, it's expanding all right. I'm gonna back it up so I don't get the camera in this stuff. It is definitely expanded. I think I may want to move my iPhone also. And for the record, the 4 fluid ounces that I placed in this cup has also expanded considerably. So this is starting to bubble up and push the syringe back, so there's enough force to move a syringe plunger. But the expansion's pretty impressive. That's 2 ounces. 2 fluid ounces did this. Actually kind of fun to watch. I should submit this on Reddit in a time lapse and put it under their oddly satisfying. Now, admittedly, this is my second test batch. This is my first one timing it. My first test batch, the 4 ounces expanded to here. My second test batch, here we are. But I wanted to try different ways to transfer into a syringe, so that's why I'm repeating this for the camera. Wow. Still going. Now it says there could be a chemical reaction up to 130 Fahrenheit. So I have, well, it's showing, I'm going to try and get a shot of that. 111 Fahrenheit. So they're not too far shy on that. This appears to have stopped expanding. Now, this one was done about 15 minutes ago. That foam is hard. It's a little tacky surface to it. So, let me get my timer back up without breaking my phone. So we are 5 minutes in. It has mostly expanded. This still has a little bit of a foamy consistency. This is for play, this is for the science. But apparently within 10 minutes it's going to go from foamy and a little loose, which can be manipulated. Apparently in 10 minutes it's going to go from that to this. So, closed cell polyurethane foam. About 6 minutes and 15 seconds into it, and that's kind of fun. Well, now I'll go put it on the airplane.